Look at this line. This isn't a stock market crash. This isn't Bitcoin in a bear market. This is the death rattle of a nation. What if I told you that the collapse of the United Kingdom and New Zealand isn't a mistake? What if the fact that your friends, your siblings, and maybe even you are packing your bags isn't a failure of government policy, but the successful execution of a hidden algorithm? The smartest minds are running for the exits. But here's the terrifying truth they won't tell you at the airport. You are fleeing a burning building, only to run straight into a digital cage that has no borders. By the end of this video, I'm going to show you exactly why they want you to leave, and why the AI apocalypse makes geography irrelevant. Let's start with the story they feed you. The mainstream narrative goes like this. The economy is tough, inflation is sticky, and the government is just doing its best to balance the books. They call it fiscal responsibility. They tell you that if we just tighten our belts, the broad sunlit uplands will return. It is a lie, a malicious mathematical lie. We just got the new ONS migration data. For the first time, they broke down British nationals by age. Look at this. 53% of the net outflow is age 16 to 24. Another 46% is age 25 to 34. Do the math. That is basically everyone with a future. The best and brightest aren't just drifting away, they are being ejected. Take my own brother, top 1% academically, a genius. He left this year, and why wouldn't he? If you are young in the UK or New Zealand, you are starting life with a distinct disadvantage that no other generation has faced since World War II. Let's look at the shackles they've put on you. You have the highest tax burden in 70 years. You are handed a six-figure student loan debt, not as an investment, but as an indentured servitude contract. That debt carries a 7.9% interest rate. And guess what? They just froze it for 3 years. Interest rates might fall for the banks, but not for you. You are the cash cow. You are the yield. And for what? The latest labor budget projects zero growth for the next 3 years. Unemployment is climbing. The ladder hasn't just been pulled up, it's been burned for firewood by the boomers. Now, I want you to listen very closely, because you need to understand the name of what is happening to you. This isn't incompetence. Politicians are dumb, but they aren't this dumb. The true term for this operation is cognitive culling. They are deliberately creating an environment toxic to ambition. Why? Because a population of intelligent, upwardly mobile, critical thinkers is a threat to a system that requires dependency. If you can think, if you can earn, if you can build, you don't need them. So they squeeze you until you leave. And don't think for a second that voting for reform or the opposition is the answer. I promise you, there is very little talent in that party. They are mid-level opportunists playing the same game on a different board. The system doesn't care which puppet wears the rosette. The outcome is the same, the hollowing out of the nation's soul. But the economic torture is just the surface. It's the push factor. What I'm about to show you ties this mass exodus directly to something much darker than tax rates. It ties to the silent rise of the technological control grid. You think you're leaving to find freedom? You won't believe the connections between this migration data and the rollout of the new digital ID systems. They are banking on you moving. First, hit the like button if you think the news lies to you every day. It helps us get this truth past the algorithm. Why the UK? Why New Zealand? These are island nations. They are test beds, petri dishes. If you can control the population of an island, you can scale that control to a continent. In New Zealand, the youth are fleeing a housing market that is mathematically impossible to enter and a cost of living that makes medieval peasantry look comfortable. The Hermit Kingdom locked them down, broke their spirits, and is now charging them for the privilege of existing. In the UK, the brain drain is being touted as a crisis. But to the technocratic elite, it's a feature, not a bug. Think about it. Who leaves? The risk takers, the innovators, the people who question authority. Who stays? The dependent, the elderly, the compliant, the people who need the state to survive. Look at the pattern. They did it with manufacturing in the 80s, shipping the jobs away to break the unions. They did it with housing in 2008, transferring real assets from the people to the banks. And now, they are doing it with intelligence. The thread tying them all together is displacement. They displace the worker, they displace the owner, now they are displacing the thinker, they are clearing the board. But why clear the board now? Because the replacement isn't another wave of immigrants. That's the distraction. The real replacement is artificial intelligence. The UK government is obsessed with becoming an AI superpower, but an AI-driven economy doesn't need millions of smart, university-educated middle-class workers. It needs a small elite to run the servers, and a massive underclass to consume the content. The youth fleeing the UK are fleeing a job market that is about to evaporate. But here's the tragic irony. You run to Dubai, you run to Australia, you run to America. You think you're escaping the taxes and the gloom, but the AI apocalypse is global. The tools of control, centralized bank, digital currencies, carbon credit trackers, digital IDs, are being rolled out everywhere. The UK and NZ were just the beta tests. You are fleeing a physical prison to enter a digital one. In the past, you could flee a tyranny by crossing a border. You could go where the king's law didn't reach, but AI doesn't respect borders. The surveillance grid is satellite-based. The banking system is interconnected. If you leave the UK to avoid paying 7.9% on your loan, do you think the global credit system won't find you? Do you think the AI algorithms screening your next job application in Sydney won't flag your anti-establishment social media history? This is where it hits home. You, or your loved ones, are making life-altering decisions based on the assumption that the grass is greener elsewhere. But the grass isn't greener, it's just artificial turf everywhere, a synthetic promise masking a deeper truth. The mid-opportunists in power know this. They aren't trying to fix the country because they understand the nation-state model is dying. They are managing the decline, securing their own lifeboats while the ship of state slowly founders. They want the youth gone because the youth are the only ones with the energy to revolt, to challenge the established order. If you export the revolution, you stabilize the tyranny at home. It's cynical, it's brilliant, and it's working. If this trend continues, if the 53% of young people keep leaving, the UK becomes a nursing home with nuclear weapons. A stagnant gray rock floating in the Atlantic managed by algorithms, populated by the dependent and owned by foreign capital. And for those who left, you become digital nomads, wandering the earth, renting everything, owning nothing. You are tracked by the very technology you thought would liberate you, a constant digital tether. Remember this graph? The one showing the exodus? Look at it again, but with new eyes. It's not just a decline, it's a crossover event. As human intelligence leaves the system, artificial intelligence takes the wheel. They are swapping you out for code, replacing human ingenuity with algorithmic efficiency. So what do? A full reset and political revolution is required, yes, but it won't come from the ballot box. And it won't come from running away. You can leave the country, but you cannot hide from the future. The only way to survive the AI apocalypse and the economic culling is to stop playing their game entirely. Build parallel systems, use cash, learn skills that AI cannot replicate, manual, physical, real-world skills. Build communities that don't rely on the state, fostering true independence and resilience. The best and brightest are leaving, but maybe the smartest ones are the ones who stay and fight, not with votes, but with independence. Tell me in the comments, did you leave, or are you planning to? And do you think there is anywhere left on Earth that is truly free? Subscribe to join the resistance. We are watching.